Hey, it's Ryan with this week's Mille Lacs Fishing Report. It's early June and the excellent bass and walleye bite continues. I'll get started with the current conditions. As we sit, what I'm noticing is water temps in the main lake are approaching the low 60s. In the bays, I'm starting to see mid 60s. As far as bug hatches go, last week we had quite the midge hatch out here, but that seems to have subdued quite a bit. I've noticed a couple mayflies, a couple caddises, but no major hatches on those yet. We'll get things started with the muskies. This past weekend was muskie opener in Minnesota. As usual, in the bays on Mille Lacs, there were a lot of fishermen, and I haven't heard a whole lot back on what the success rates were. In my boat, we did well in the bays. We also moved fish out deep, so there's still fish in the bays, and also when we went out to deeper water, we found fish out there as well. What my best recommendation is at this time is, while there still are fish in the bays, find the greenest cabbage you can and throw bucktails at them. You can use either small or large bucktails. I prefer to go with darker colors during low light periods or on cloudy days, and going with brighter colors on bright days. Another great technique is just throwing topwater baits. I really prefer the plopper style topwaters at this time. Those are really two of my go-to techniques early on in the muskie season. Moving on to the walleye bite's been great. There's a variety of different techniques a guy can use right now. We're finding fish in shallow still. We've found a lot of fish in that 6, 8, 12 foot of water range. Cruising the shallows, biting the bobbers and leeches. We're also catching them pitching plastics. But when you go out a little bit deeper, you're going to find fish on rock transitions. There's still a lot of fish in those rock transitions that are in 12 to 18 feet of water, especially if you have a little bit of wind blowing in. And lastly is the deep water bite. There are fish on the gravel bars. There are a ton of fish that have showed up on the flats this last week. So it kind of seems like to me, pick your favorite spot and your favorite technique and give it a try. It's pretty likely that you'll get on some fish out here. We've had an excellent bite so far. To narrow it down a little bit for you, what I would say is, if you're gonna fish the rocks, I'd fish like a windward rock reef or a windward point, something in that 12 to 18 foot of water range on a transition. A bobber and a leech is sure to get you some fish out here. But you can also take the bobbers and leeches and go right out to the mud flats. Fish the edges of the flats. There's a lot of fish stacked up out there, so use your electronics, mark some fish, set on top of them with those bobbers and leeches. It's as close as you can get to a sure thing right now. If bobbers aren't really your speed, Lindy rigs and leeches are also an excellent technique out here. Going out to those same edges on the flats, going out to the gravel bars and fishing the transitions, or going right up on top and finding any scattered rock that's on top. That's also a fantastic producer through the month of June. Lastly is the smallies. We've been doing great on smallmouth out here. Most days it's been excellent. What I will say is, over the last few days, there are a lot more beds popping up, and we're about to see a lot more pop up over the coming days. We've kind of switched over to mostly bed fishing in my boat. There's still pre-spawn opportunities. There's still plenty of pre-spawn bass in the lake, but that's going to be converting very quickly here. If you're going for pre-spawn bass, I would recommend looking somewhere in that 12 foot of water range on large rock and boulder. We've been doing best on Ned rigs looking for pre-spawners this last week, but hair jigs, jerk baits, and swim baits are all great producers, and you can cover a lot of water with each. If you are looking for bed fish, what I would recommend is just Ned rigs or drop shots. I just like a green pumpkin Ned rig. That's my personal favorite on a bed. Those light wire hooks on a Ned rig or a drop shot really do minimal damage to the fish, and they pin them really well. So you don't need to worry about losing fish on a Ned rig. Usually once you hook them, they're locked in. The best bedding areas that we've been finding are on rock in less than 6 feet of water. So if you're looking for the beds, find the rocks, go less than 6 feet of water, cruise around. You're sure to spot some up there at this time. So if you're looking to fish Mille Lacs, we've been having a great season so far. The future looks bright. I see a lot of good fishing over the coming weeks here. So hopefully this helps you out. Good luck fishing and have a great weekend.